All right, everyone, welcome back to another enlightening episode of Collaboration Over Competition, a podcast that dives deep into the credible outcomes that arise when collaboration takes center stage. Man, today I have the honor and privilege of sitting down with a hometown legend, straight from Dallas, Texas, sponsored by Hello Studios. Everyone, help me welcome entrepreneur, UFC fighter, Steven Nguyen. How you doing, bro?
Man, my man, thanks for the introduction. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here, man. Finally to meet you, and I'm excited to do this, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. I know we in Dallas, Texas for this episode. How you liking Dallas? How long you been out here?
I've been out. I moved out here from Wichita like almost 5 years ago.
Okay.
Four and a half,
Okay.
and it's been great, man. I love my hometown, Wichita, but there's so much more opportunity. There's bigger everything here. I mean,
Yes.
you could be a hairstylist. There's a bigger world out here. You could be an
Yes.
MMA fighter. There's a bigger world out here. So, me and my girlfriend, we packed our stuff with nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job, nothing like that. It's just like coming down here, follow a dream.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I mean, now I'm here doing what I want to do in
Yeah.
life, so
Hey,
can't complain. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Taking risks. That's one thing I was noticing too. I'm from Arlington, Texas, which is not too
Okay,
far from here.
yeah.
So back home, but yeah, man, it's just everything has grown, man. That's what I was kind of talking to my mother about, just like business wise. It must like it can seem intimidating because there's so many people here, but at the same time, there's so many opportunities to network and so many, so easy for your brand to reach more people with so many people around here.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I came down here, like I said, with nothing. I had to start from the bottom out here. But I feel like, especially Dallas, it's a good place for if you're a true grinder and you just
Yes.
keep working.
Yeah.
This is a place made for those people.
Yeah.
So I saw the opportunity, and that's the type of person I am. And I pursued my dreams in all facets. My business, my dreams in fighting,
Yeah.
and I could proudly say that I'm where I want to be right now. But there's so much more to go. But
Amen. Amen.
it's good.
Yes, I'm happy to see what God has in store for both of us, man.
Absolutely.
And to kind of get into the podcast, man, we always start the podcast off with this question to kind of set the tone for the podcast. We're wondering, man, what does the idea of collaboration of competition mean or represent to you?
Like I think. See, I was actually thinking about that on the way home. Like, man, like how did he get that name? Did he just kind of see it somewhere, and kind of just stuck to him? But when that word comes into my mind, I'm thinking like, so I'm part of a elite MMA fight team here in Dallas,
Yes.
and a lot of my teammates are in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? So it's competition inside the gym too.
Yes.
It's competition, but at the same time, we have to collab with each other because we're the same. We are on the same team,
Yeah.
even though we fight for the same organization in the UFC. Like we're on the same team. We're not going to fight each other. We're here to build each other up,
Iron
And
sharpen
it's very
iron.
it's iron sharpen iron, and that's exactly what I feel like I see when I see the collaboration over
Okay,
competition.
so that's interesting. So when a person on the outside looking in, you think about UFC. It's a one-on-one sport, fighting and battling, but I think sometimes people kind of forget about the collaboration that goes into it. Although you are going out there to fight on your own, it's a team that helps you get prepared for that one moment in the spotlight. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely touch more on that with further questions. But no, I definitely bring us some insight just to the collaboration that takes to go into what you do as a sport.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But to move on to the next question, man. Like I said, we got a hometown legend here. I honestly, bro, don't feel like your name gets talked about and brought up enough in Wichita for what you've been doing. So that's why I wanted to bring you on to highlight, what you got going on, bro. Because I think you doing something big and will continue to do great things. But
Appreciate
I want to know, from your perspective, what was it like growing up in Wichita, and like how did that shape you to be the person you are today?
Yeah, my background is I'm a Vietnamese American. My family escaped the war in Vietnam and came over here, and like they came through like on boats and stuff. They're refugees,
Okay.
and then my parents kind of came over here. They had me and my sister over here. They started with nothing, kind of the same rags to riches story, but like they worked their butts off for everything that they have
Yeah.
to raise us. So yeah, growing up over here as a Vietnamese American kid, there wasn't too many other Vietnamese American kids growing up around this time. So I had to grow up the American way, you know what I'm saying? But we spoke Vietnamese at home. So my traditions of Vietnamese traditions were still, when I went home, it completely changed. But when I went to school, it completely changed. So it was a lot of just balancing that out. But I was put in, my parents put me and my sister in martial arts since I was like 5 years old, just as a hobby almost, and like just to learn self-discipline. You're gonna put your kids in there, like just so they can learn some like self-discipline, learn some respect, things
Yeah.
like that. But I kept with it, and Yeah, growing up in Wichita was, it's a small town. It's a small town. It's grown so much though. I've been going back a lot lately. I'm like, every single time I come back, there's something new restaurant. There's something new. There's something bigger. So I'm really happy to see that. But when I was growing up, it was still a pretty small city, and everybody kind of knew each other. And growing up there, I went to Heights High School. We were known to be like kind of like a sports school. Like my senior year. Shout out Heights Falcons, but 2011 was my senior year. We won 5 state championships that year. Yeah. So I kind of grew up wrestling. I wrestled all 4 years in high school.
Okay.
Rest in peace too.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Rest in peace to my coach Mike Church, who just passed away a few months ago from cancer. But he was our coach, and he was one of the people that really helped me grow into who I am as far as wrestling. I mean, wrestling is one of the hardest sports, in my opinion, in the world, because like I said, it's not a team sport. If you lose, that's on you. Like you're the only one out there. It's kind of the same thing with fighting. But I mean, growing up, like my focus just on sports and training. So I didn't really have too much time for anything else. Like, I was close to my family. I had lots of friends and stuff like that. I was social, but I started competing like right off the bat when I was 15. That's when I had my first fight. So I didn't really have too much time to really focus on anything else. I put all my whole life into this sport.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear your perspective from, and correct me if I'm wrong, a Vietnamese American.
Yeah.
Just to hear me personally, I never heard much about your culture, so just to hear it one-on-one up front, I definitely love that. Sounds like you've been locked in and focused on your dreams for a long time.
Just for a really time, I feel like I kind of realized that dream, like I said, right when I got into high school, when I was like in 8th grade, 9th grade. Obviously, just already I already been in Taekwondo and karate for years, but then like I'm like, well, I want to wrestle now. I want to do this. I'm like, I want to transition. It was funny because at first, another Vietnamese tradition thing, like Asian parents in general, I feel like my parents wanted me to become like a doctor. My sister's a doctor. You got to become a lawyer. You got to become a doctor. Why would you want to fight? You're not going to make any money doing that. You got to take care of your family. My parents are very, very traditional Vietnamese parents. So
was it pressure?
It was pressure, but like at the same time, I was like, I couldn't give up on my dreams. So for a while, I kind of did it without them knowing. Like I competed my first 2 or 3 matches. They didn't even know I was a bad kid. I like forged their signatures.
Yeah, driving mama crazy.
and I would come home with black. I was like, where'd you get that from? I was just training, but they didn't even know. But they saw the dedication in me, and like I was undefeated. And then they finally went out to one of my fights, and I think the first fight that they came out to watch me, I think I won in like 46 seconds.
Wow.
And like they just saw the dedication, and then they finally started slowly accepting, not even as much, but when I got into the UFC and like when I became pro and I started fighting in the Hartman Arena, Kansas Star casinos, and like they saw the support, they saw Vietnamese support.
Yes.
From the home country. They're like, okay, like this is more than just me doing what I want. This is something that I can represent my country in.
Yes. It's bigger than you. It's
absolutely
bigger than you. And that's what I love about your journey. It's not just about you. You speaking for your people, your community, your heritage, your country. So I definitely love that about you. For this next question, I want to talk about mindset, bro. Mindset is something that's very important to me. That's kind of helped me be successful. But I just want to talk about, what type of mindset you maybe had to even become a fighter. I know you said you've been locked in, since a young age, but what type of mindset did you even have to even, want to become a fighter? I want to get like some game out there for the young kids,
for
the
young
mindset
kids,
to take on.
I'm just trying to go back to when I first walked into my first MMA gym. I'm thinking right now, like, I remember walking into my very first MMA gym as a 15-year-old kid and seeing like a real boxing ring. I'm talking about like elevated, it's a little bouncy, and I saw some boxers with headgear in there boxing. I was just like in awe. Like this is the UFC stuff that I've been seeing.
Yeah.
And like, seeing people train, the coaches, and like just like being in that atmosphere. The best way for anybody to start is like the thing about MMA right now, it's just so big. Like it's growing. The UFC is growing every single year.
Yes.
Everybody's talking about it every single year. And it's a very new sport. It started in 1993, the year I was born.
Same here.
So there's so many MMA gyms around, and going to your first MMA gym, I remember I was so happy, but there's so many opportunities for kids to just say, hey, I just want to go try a free class. Yeah. As a kid, if there's kids watching, that's the best way for me to. That's my best tip is just go try out a free class and see how you like it. But now, as far as mindset, if you want to just do it as a hobby, that's fine because a lot of people just want to learn how to fight and defend themselves, and this is fun. It's more than just physical. I have clients in my own business that they like to do that to relieve stress. They have a long day. Let me punch something.
Yes, we all
You know,
do that.
let me punch something. But as far as mindset to be a fighter, that's different. If you want to be a fighter, I feel like your mindset has to be you want to be one of the best in the world, or you're not going to make it far.
Facts.
And this is a very brutal sport because you can get knocked out, and there's many different ways. You can get choked out, you get hit with the elbow, you know, and
The real art of war.
and just like I said, it's so popular now to where you have kids doing it since they're 5 years old. I started when I was, karate a little, but they're doing MMA, they're doing wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, all when they're at 5. Wow. Not where it used to be now. So the competition's also just like in any sport. So the mindset you have to have is very different. You have to be built tough. And the thing is, though, even if you aren't tough at first, the classes that you do, the jiu-jitsu classes, the boxing, getting hit in the face for the first time, that's going to build character.
So when speaking about mindset, so it's not something, I know everybody's different, but it's not necessarily something that, you come, some people come with that mindset, but do you feel like that's something that you can grow into? That's a mindset you could develop?
Absolutely. I mean, I've, like I said, I'm a trainer myself. And I mean, girls, guys, kids, old guys. I mean, some people come to me insecure. Some people come to me overweight. Some people come to me like, I've never been in a fight ever in my life. I don't know. And I've been able to just change them just through training, learning how to block a punch, learning how to throw a punch. And hey, your chin's not made out of glass. You can kind of actually take a punch and be like, hey, I'm okay. So that stuff like that, the physical part of that, the training part of that, and they go home, they think about it, and that's what builds a character. You don't have to come in and be this tough guy that I had 300 street fights.
And that's why I want to talk about mindset, because when you think UFC, that's you kind of think that a lot of people say sometimes it's in me, not on me, but it's good to know that you can, even though if you're not born or equipped, with these mindsets, you can still develop one to help you to become successful. So whether that be fighting or in life, I definitely encourage the young people out there to just find a mindset if you're looking for one that can help you maintain, stay motivated, you just live a positive, healthy lifestyle. So no, I definitely love that perspective. And I want to move on to my next question, man. So I want to talk about your journey, man. From what I've seen, your journey is one of perseverance. So I just want to talk about your journey to the UFC from Wichita to UFC all the way to like that point of signing a contract. Just kind of summarize or speak briefly on your journey to the UFC.
Yeah. So like I said, it started at a pretty early age. My first fight when I was 15 years old. I fought like this 21-year-old kid. I had like Justin Bieber hair still, man. I was a little chubby, so I fought with the shirt on. I didn't want to take my shirt off, and I had my old Taekwondo shin guards on. That was my first fight, and in that's what we call smoker fights, where it doesn't count on your record. It's more for experience. And like, all right, you guys are fighting tonight. All right, how much do you weigh? All right, you guys are fighting. And I did about 10 of those, and at an early age, so that's the way I got my experience. So I went as an amateur. I started my amateur career when I was 18. But I already had 10 fights. I went 14-1 as an amateur. I did boxing. I was 2-0 in boxing, 2-0 in kickboxing. Did a bunch of MMA, 10 MMA fights. Won a bunch of belts in the Kansas City area, the Wichita area, things like that. And I was like, all right, well, it's time to go pro. And I went pro when I was like 22, 23. And yeah, I mean, I fought most of my fights in Wichita, Kansas, and it's nothing like fighting at home, man. And I felt like I built my career up in Wichita, fighting the best people in the area, in Oklahoma, in the Midwest, the best fighters in the Midwest. And I won the EFC championship title, and I defended my belt 2 times. And then I kind of just outgrew it a little bit. I love my team there. I still train with my team there. David Rickles, shout out to 316 Martial Arts and all the guys out there.
I've heard a lot about him.
Doing good things out there. I love my team out there, and they'll always be my team. But I also needed to grow as a martial artist. It's a selfish sport, and I hate to say it, but if you want to be the best in MMA, you're going to have to be selfish. And I saw the opportunity to continue to expand my growth here in Dallas. So I got invited to train at Fortis MMA.
Okay.
We have 24 UFC signed fighters at my gym.
Awesome.
So every single day I'm walking in there and these guys are looking at me and it's lines on lines on lines.
Yeah.
But that's how you grow. So I trained here for the last few years, and now, you know, I was 6-0 as a pro coming in here. And I won a few fights and I got called up by Dana White. You know, hey, come do this show, Dana White Contender Series.
Yep.
If I like your performance, I'll sign you.
Which is a big deal out there. That, you know, Dana White Contender Series. It's been around for a while, so to even be on that show was definitely awesome. But continue.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, you know, that show is it showcases all the best talent that are unsigned to the UFC. Mm-hmm. So my very first fight, Contender Series, I fought Alon Cruz. He's 6'1", tall, lanky guy, number one guy out of Florida. I was the number one guy in Kansas. Makes sense. We fought each other. It was a 3-round war. I felt like I was winning the fight. I was piecing him up. Last 15 or 20 seconds left, I got caught with the knee. Dropped me. Fight was over. That was probably the hardest summer because I was during summer.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the hardest summers for me. That was my first loss.
And on a big stage too.
On a big stage. And you'll always learn the most on your first loss because you'll really see how you bounce back.
Yep.
You know, so that was a rough time. I was like, man, like, are my dreams of being in the UFC really over? And like, does this move to Dallas really make sense like that? Should I, you know, like, what am I supposed to do from here? You know, but honestly, like, I to tell the complete truth, I didn't really spend too much dwelling because I know my own mindset. And I went right back to work. I got a 30-second knockout in an organization right below the UFC, like a farming league for the UFC. And then the UFC saw that, and they brought me back for a second time on the show. Okay, second time on the show. This is perfect.
There's that perseverance we talking about, y'all.
Here we go. Here we go. I won my Contender Series fight this time, but by decision. I outclassed a very skilled opponent. Yeah. He was shorter, a little stockier guy. He was just trying to take me down and just run it. So I wanted to use a little bit of me was a little bit gun shy. Why? Because of the last fight. I wanted to make sure I secured this win. I was thinking in my head, if I secure this win, I'm in. Like, I just need a win.
Yep.
So that's what I did. I went out there and I won. I was popping them. I was piecing them up. But I won, but I didn't get the contract. I didn't get the UFC contract. I was even more heartbroken because I won the fight and they didn't sign me. So so I was on the sidelines for like a year and a half, just like, okay, my coach is like, don't worry, they'll call you last minute. You know, you won your fight. Like, you're on a short list of people right now. They never called me, nothing like that. And I was just like, maybe this is the end of the line. Yeah. But they ended up calling me back for a last chance. I mean, I have the best management team. I have the best training partners and team around me that helped me with that opportunity. You know, my manager Jason House, we have over 150 UFC fighters in our roster. So like, awesome. He's like one of the top managers. So he was able to say like, look at this. You know, like I was thinking maybe I have to do like 2 more fights or something. Like at this point, like to come back for a third time, like I'm gonna have to go knock everybody out, and then they'll call me. But they gave me an opportunity against another tough guy that's never been finished before. But man, I've never trained so damn hard in my life, man. You know, this is like, for me, it was do or die. Like if I don't get into the UFC this third time, it's over. The third time has to be the charm. So it was a war of a fight, but I ended up knocking him out. Yes. And I got my UFC contract, and you know, I was ecstatic. Literally just a few months later, they called me for my UFC debut. I trained my ass off for it, and then I came into the fight. The guy that I fought for and now, you know, you have to think in the UFC, now it's not even Contender Series level. This is the cream of the crop now. This is the NFL. This is the Olympics of fighting now.
Made it to the league.
So I fought the only fighter from the Netherlands, you know, and I'm the only fighter from the Vietnam, and we ended up having a war of a fight, and we got fight of the night. That night, $50,000 bonus, and we got fighter of the month from the UFC. So, awesome. You know, I'm not happy about the loss. No one's gonna be happy about losing, but you know, as far as my performance, I didn't let him finish me, and I'm using that as, you know, a learning experience for me. I know exactly what I need to work on now, and I want to let everybody out there know, like, you know, you can lose, and it could be a football game, it could be a game of ping pong, whatever. But if it really means that much to you, then you're only going to learn from it. And that's how I see it right now. And, you know, the bonus helps out a little bit, you know, and I'm coming into this next fight, which I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll see kind of what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a signed fighter, but I'm really gonna use it as fuel for my next fight, and yeah.
No, I definitely love that. If anything, I spoke on this several times, but perseverance. If you want to take anything away from Steven's journey, no matter how many times he's been, knocked down or fell back, he's gotten right back up. So I already know, even though we didn't get the decision, we won this fight, you're gonna come back 10 times stronger. So that's one thing that I do always know about you, even though I don't know you. You're gonna come back harder. You're gonna come back putting in the work. So I'm excited to see your next fight. And as soon as you get some news, man, we'll be happy to know. But no, for my next question, man, I want to talk about being in the UFC. We here now. You made it. Congratulations. But talk about some of the benefits and the perks. As far as training facilities and maybe how being at the UFC has helped you elevate your fighting game.
Yeah, as soon as I got signed to the UFC, I had probably 10, 15 different people from the UFC reach out to me. Hey, I'm going to be your this person. I want to be your coordinator for this. I want to be, hey, for your travel person, so they've been nothing but very supportive. And, the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas is open 24/7 for any signed UFC fighters. I can bring guests and stuff in there. I brought Devontae in there. We checked out we did hot tub and cold plunge, and we did therapy and stuff together. So they definitely treat you very good there at the UFC. And I mean, like I said, my last fight I got a nice $50,000 bonus on top of the money that I made for the fight and stuff like that, and the sponsorships that they give us through Venom and all that stuff. So I have nothing to complain. For me, it's however hard you work is how much money you're gonna make, and it's all in the performance. So I mean, being in the UFC is great, and it's great not just only for me, but I get to represent my country of Vietnam, and being the only fighter there that is from Vietnam. And the last time that we had a fighter from Vietnam was probably I would say 5 or 6 years ago. So it's been a while since we had a representative. So I'm happy to be where I'm at and to represent my country.
That's dope. Yeah, I think I seen maybe a little bit after your fight, you kind of, with Devontae, you kind of going through the facility. I kind of seen it, and I thought that was dope. Just all the high-tech facility stuff that they got for you guys, to take care of you guys, because you guys literally put your bodies on the line. So got to take care of that. No, but I want to move into some entrepreneurship questions, because I know entrepreneurship and branding, because I know you don't just fight, you have a business as well. So I want to talk about your Ninja Nguyen training.
Yes, sir.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I seen you got your own training services. Can you kind of talk about that? And then you spoke about it a little bit earlier, but just the benefits that your training provides people as well, people who don't even fight.
Exactly. The number one thing that I wanted to make sure that I did was maximize my platform as well. In this, I'm where I'm at because of what I've done and all the hard work that I put in, and I want to do something. Fighting is not going to last forever. I'm not going to be able to fight forever. I'm not going to fight I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'm 45. Hey man, I got to fight next month. 45. I'm not going to be, fighting these YouTube guys are going to come out there and knock me out. But
that money, right?
Yeah. Well, that's different. That's different, right? That money talks. But anyways, back to that. I wanted to maximize my platform, and I knew I also know how to see. The thing about training is it's not just the physical part. You have to know how to motivate somebody. You have to know how to be able to relate with somebody and connect with them. And I've been able to do it with my clients. And I kind of started from the bottom there. I came to Dallas with zero clients. I had nobody here. I worked at a little small boutique kickboxing gym that still had zero clients, but some people were like, hey, you want to start training in my apartment gym? Train 2 people a week in my apartment gym, made $100. I'm like, okay, I'm starting something. Just my apartment gym, but it started getting so popular. I started having my apartment gym was like, hey, you can't be training people here. You got to pay us rent now. So I had to find a real gym, and I really grew from there. And my clients are the best clients. Every single one of my clients, they put in the work. They come up, they show up. It's the best job in the world because they show up and they're there to become a better person. And you're just there to guide them that way. And, with Ninja Nguyen training, we've done that, through multiple. I mean, I have clients of all facets. I mean, I have fighters. The guys are, hey, I want to be in the UFC one day. I have kids. I have people that want to lose weight. I have ladies that never thrown a punch ever in their lives. And now they're just throwing spinning kicks and doing all these cool things and like, showing it's the confidence and it's not just the physical part of just being a better,
Yes.
in better physical shape. I really truly believe it's all about the mindset.
Yes.
It's about, because that will lead to everything else. Now the mindset will lead to you eating better. The mindset will lead to you sleeping better. The mindset will make you work harder. So that's kind of my brand, and that's what I want to do with Ninja Win Training. And obviously Ninja is my nickname, and Win's my last name, and I kind of just put it together. It kind of seemed catchy, and I'm building that. I'm building a lot of merch now. We have boxing gloves coming out. I'll show you here later. I have uniforms coming out soon. Awesome. So we're definitely growing. It's in the works, and I have a great team behind me in my clients, because I see them as my team.
Yeah.
I say them. I don't see you guys as like I hang out with them. We go hang out. We'll go. We'll have team events, stuff like that. We're a family. Yeah. And
I'm calling them the ninjas.
Yeah, exactly. The ninja team. Man. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I love that. I definitely will have to check you out for myself, and anybody in Dallas, Texas, or in surrounding areas, check out Ninja Win Training. No other better person to train you than a very young UFC fighter. So if y'all need that work, and that's something that I love, because I always talk about this on our podcast, just taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. They all correlate. So taking care of your physical sharpens your mind, and taking care of your body take care of your mental, and the spiritual side kind of brings all that in together. So I always strive or stress telling people to take care of their physical, because it kind of affects everything else. So I definitely love that you're helping people become better physically and all around overall. So keep doing what you're doing. And no, I definitely want to touch on the custom boxing gloves. I seen you just dropped those, newly released. Those look fire. Sir. Y'all definitely check those out. Go shopping for those. I'll let him, direct you to the right place to grab those. But just to kind of talk about a little bit about that, you just released some new custom boxing gloves.
Yeah, so like with my brand, like I want to create my own gear eventually too. Mm-hmm. That's something that I'm working towards. So yeah, I made some new custom boxing gloves. It's a limited edition boxing gloves, and every single time I get these new products, I'm always trying to revamp them, create better stuff. So yeah, I have some new boxing gloves coming out. I'm gonna have some, the winter is gonna come up eventually. I'm gonna have hoodies out. I'm gonna do the whole 9 yards. So definitely tune in and kind of be on standby, because I'm gonna have a lot of stuff drop soon.
Alrighty, y'all definitely be in tune for that. I'm definitely excited to see the merch, workout gear, all that, man. Definitely love the support. I know your fans and the people would as well. So definitely tap into that as another revenue stream and just expanding the Win brand internationally, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so moving on to this next question. I'm curious, like getting back to fight. I'm more like, do you have any pre-fight rituals? Like, what does it take to get your mind right to walk into the octagon? Like, it sounds scary.
Okay, so you wanted about the pre-fight ritual? Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like for me, the fight starts literally when I literally sign that contract. Mm-hmm. That's when the fight really starts, because when you're in the locker room and stuff like that, you already did all the training. Yeah, you're ready to go.
You're right.
And the fight really starts. That's probably when I'm the most scared. Like when I'm like, oh, my manager, hey, do you want to fight this person, this person? Okay, send me the contract. I signed the contract. That's probably when I'm the most scared, because I'm like, 8-9 weeks out. I'm not in the, I'm in shape, but I'm not in like, I'm like, man, I got to get into shape. I started thinking about what is he doing? That's when the fight starts really. Okay. And that's in the mental. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's when the fight really starts. But pre-fight ritual, I mean, besides the whole training hard thing, like, when I'm in the locker room, I like to meditate. I like to kind of slow things down. Like, I see a lot of different fighters. Some guys are in the back yelling. Yelling. And hey, if that's what you need to do to get yourself ready to do that, I'm a little bit more just. I don't like to talk to anybody. Like I'm very. Like my coaches know. It's all right. Well, we're 10 minutes out from fight. Like, all right,
lock in.
Don't talk to Steven no more. Let him do his thing. And I'm just meditating. I'm trying to calm myself down. It's like what do you call it? The calm before the storm type of thing, right? So. For me, I feel like that's always the best, because I don't want to elevate my heart rate. I don't want to overthink anything. My mind's kind of just blank, because when I walk out to the fight, I'm not thinking about anything. People are like, "What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about techniques? Are you like?" I'm not really thinking. My body's kind of on autopilot mode.
I love that.
And that meditation helps me get to that point, because all the training, everything that you've done for the last 8 weeks, it's drilled into you towards it's natural instinct now.
Yeah, just
it's natural instinct now.
Yeah. No, I love that. I feel like sometimes I'm just a fan on the outside looking in, but it seems like sometimes a fighter or a boxing fighter, sometimes before the fight can, like you say, if they're up, just exhausting their energy, heart rate pumping. They can kind of tire themselves out before the fight sometimes. So I like that the calm before the storm, slow your heart rate down, for what's about to happen. So I definitely love that, and a little into the mindset of a professional UFC fighter before he steps into the ring. No, from my next question, man. Like I said, I've never, I'm just a normal person. I've been in fights, but I've never. I don't know. I've never really had to really fight nobody, bro. Besides like slap boxing or bros or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm
Going
really
bodies.
yeah. I'm really curious, like, what it feels like to knock someone out, and also be on the other side of that. Like, what is that feeling like? I'm really curious.
So like first off, like in a street fight, like it's so different, right? So when we're in an MMA cage, it's a lot of technique. You have another technician in front of you, stuff like that. How long does street fights last? 10 seconds?
Yeah.
15 seconds?
Yeah.
30 seconds at most if they really throw down. So, it's a whole different world doing that. But when you're in MMA and you've been training for the last 2 months for it, and you've been training that punch over and over, you can just see yourself like it's like a camera, like you're outside looking at it, you're just punching the bag, doing that same technique every time, and you finally landed in a fight, and then you like knock them out or something like that. You kind of don't even feel it. Like you hit them and like you're like, this just kind of feels like air. And then and then like when with the crowd there, it's like silent for like half. It's like a movie. It's like a pause.
It's interesting.
It's like a freeze frame.
Yeah.
And then everybody just goes crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's just the craziest feeling. And then like it's the craziest feeling, man. It's hard to explain it, but that's why I say about MMA, we get to feel the highest of the high.
Yep.
I mean, on top of the world.
Yeah.
But we also get the lowest of the lowest. And I've been everywhere in between.
Yes.
On top,
yes.
below. But I feel like that experience is why I'm in the UFC.
Yes.
And that experience is why I feel like my mindset is bulletproof, because I'm never going to be able to, I'm not going to let anybody get in my head. I've been through all of it. What is something worse that you can do to me? I've knocked people out. I've been knocked out one time. I've lost a decision. I've wanted submission. Like I'm talking about every single way and winning, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've been through it all, and it's just part of fighting. Everybody goes through it. People will lose, but I mean that's how I feel. And as far as the lowest of the lowest, the biggest thing is going to be your mental there. The biggest thing is going to be how you're going to bounce back. The biggest thing is look, especially when it happens already. Like it already happened. It's about, and one thing I will say is being in the UFC is a little bit harder too, because you got the fans. I've gotten some death threats.
It gets real. You can continue speaking on that, but you are, like you said, you are in the league of fighting, so that's the negative side that people don't talk about.
So you got to prepare for that. And I'm at this point to where like the only people's opinions that I'm gonna ever, or the people that are as close to me, or if you're a fighter, or if you're a better fighter than me. Anybody else is just, that happens to everybody in every sport. And I'm like, okay, that's just every sport.
I would think it'd be a little harsher for y'all because, say like, basketball, football, it's a team thing, but you get still fans talking shit. But fighting, is you out there. You. So when they talking shit, they talking directly to to you.
Exactly.
So I'm sure the
memes,
shit talking.
I mean, I'm talking about death threats. You lost me money.
Oh,
I'm talking about
that, the sports betting and everything.
I'm talking about. It's funny, man. Because that's how I see it now. It's funny. I used to kind of get bothered by it, like when I first kind of got into the profiling, but I'm just like, that's funny. I saved those things. I'm like, I'm showing my friends like, look at how mad this guy was, and stuff like that.
Well, let's kind of talk about that too. I didn't have this question in there, but I do want to kind of talk about that. Like, I want to give advice to people out there. When you do reach a certain level, how to manage social media, a certain level of fame, a certain level of notoriety. What have you learned, or any advice that you can give to people out there? When you reach that top spot, and like you said, the fans attacking you on social media. Like, how do you manage that yourself, just for mental health wise as well?
Yeah, anything like cyber, online, you just got to remember, at the end of the day, these people, you don't know these people. These people don't have anything to do with lives. Are they paying your bills? Are they hanging out with you? Do you get to see them every day? Or that's your decision to see that, to go online and do that. And if you do read it, I can guarantee you 99% of the time, that person has a worse life than you and is looking at you
venting,
pissed off because of whatever, and they want to try to find any time, any little thing to make you go to your downfall or
Yep.
something. So that's the truth of it. But just remember, it's always a choice.
Yes.
And if you really feel that way, just be around your close ones. You know, don't fall into a hole of, you know, into that stuff. And as a UFC fighter, I know that the best, you know, winning, losing, stuff like that, you know, and I've experienced it all myself. And yeah, that's just the best way to handle it.
I love that. You know, that's a big thing we deal with today's time, social media. You know, even me being a public figure as a podcaster, I'm obviously not on the level you on, man. But man, I was dealing with some stuff this week. I guess there's like this group on Facebook in Wichita where girls have it's a private anonymous group where girls it's called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" And I've had multiple women come up to me this week that I was posted in this group, you know, but good thing, you know, like so they were saying they speaking positively on my name.
Okay,
so, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You know, my face card good, but it was just interesting, you know, that like, dang, I don't mind free publicity, you know what I'm saying? But just what you got to do when being a public figure, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure. I mean, with anybody, you know, it can be on any level, you know, and it can affect people on any level. You don't have to be famous. You could just be a regular person and like, you know, like
because somebody could have got on their line on my name, you know, and I'm not there to, you know, so it is.
It can look bad on you, reputation, you know, all this stuff. But, you know, I think the best thing is before, you know, thinking something about somebody, just meet them and see them for yourself.
Yes,
you know?
yes. I definitely love that. To move on to my next question, I want to talk about long-term goals for, you know, your brand. What are like some long-term goals for you in and out the ring? I know you kind of spoke on saying, you know, you can't fight forever, but what are some long-term goals for you in the brand in and out the ring?
So, you know, when my UFC career is finally all said and done and I'm retired, hopefully younger than older, and because I really do love this and I just don't really see myself stopping, but, you know, I'm going to be smart about it. But when it's finally all said and done, you know, I really want to continue. Look, for me, as long as I'm doing something related to martial arts, and I'm a commentator as well. So I commentate for XKO, EFC, for these organizations, and I love doing that. As long as I can do something that's related to martial arts, I don't work. I'm not working a day in my life. And right now it's training clients, it's building a fight team, it's hopefully in the future open up my own gym.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Open up my own gym.
I see it.
Expand it.
Yes.
Expand it. Commentate, seminars, anything that has to do speak. I mean, I'm talking about I can do shows, whatever, anything that deals with MMA, fighting, martial arts. You best believe I will be in that market doing it.
I love that. I definitely see that future for you, bro. Own gym, all that. Whether that be back home with Dallas, Texas,
both.
Yeah, facts. Multiple locations, you know, across the United States. But no, I definitely feel like these all the experience that you have gained and will continue to gain will definitely provide you invaluable experience in the future. So you know, I do feel like when you leave the game, man, you'll have so much game to give.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So there'll always be a job for you.
Yeah.
So I definitely love that. So as we get close to the end here, I got a couple more questions for you, bro. But I want to get your top 5 fighters or maybe an athlete that inspired you along the way.
Athletes and fighters.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
top 5 or somebody who inspired you.
So, you know, like as far as like the UFC right now, I'm going to talk about some like legends. Actually, I'm going to talk about people that that got me into MMA. I'm going to talk about people that like I've been watching since I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. And, you know, my number one favorite fighter is Anderson Silva. You know, he's an old school guy, retired a long time ago, but he's like, you know, he was one of the great people that got me into MMA. It's because of his personality outside of the cage.
Yes.
It wasn't because he was this fearsome. He went on an 11-0, defended his belt 11 times. It's not just that. It's how he was outside, the way he treated his opponents with respect, the way he branded himself outside the cage and wanted to unite peace with the world. Yes. That's what a true champion is for me. Somebody like inside and outside the gym. Yeah. You know? So I guess he would be one of my top ones. But besides that, like athletes, man, boxers, Manny Pacquiao, like Manny Pacquiao. Okay. I'm a big man, with all the Olympics and stuff right now, going, you know, I've been watching a lot of gymnastics, man. Simone Biles and all those girls, they're killing it, man. Yes. So I'm really just, you know, I don't have too many like crazy, you know, goats, stuff like that, but I just really respect everybody in every sport, you know.
No, I love that.
I see it.
Yeah, Anderson Silva was Man, that was a great answer because he's a champion, but he did it with grace and class. I'm not into UFC as much as you are, but just from even the outside looking in, I could tell that from him. So that's definitely a good person to model your game after, and it's dope that he inspired you. Have you got to meet him yet?
I haven't got to meet him.
Hey,
that's the goal.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen
one
UFC,
day.
We're gonna lock it in. We're gonna lock it in. So
let's make it happen.
Yeah, definitely get to meet one of the legends you look up to. Okay, so I got another interesting question, man. It's a historical fighter question. So if you could fight any fighter throughout the time, dead or alive, who would you fight and why?
Oof.
Interesting.
If I could have like a dream fight,
Mm-hmm.
man, like in the MMA cage, like I mean,
anybody.
Honestly, bro, like, and this is not like from disrespect or anything. Like, this is like more of like an honorable thing. But like, I would love to step in there with like one of the greatest all time, like Bruce Lee or something, man. Like, just go in there and just move around with him.
Yes.
Hey, I'm not even talking about fight him. Maybe just put on the gloves with me. And I really want to test my skills against one of the best in the world because I consider myself one of the best in the world as far as what I do, and because I'm in the UFC and all that. So I want to see if because he's the GOAT, right? He's one of the GOATs, and that's out of just respect. That's out of like I would probably be so happy. I'll be smiling the whole time. But I think in my weight class right now, one of the best featherweights in the world is Max Holloway.
Okay.
And like that's like a dream fight for me. You know what I'm saying? I've always seen myself like I feel like he has such a good style. He's so good everywhere, and like that's another thing. That's not out of disrespect. That's out of like
of course.
If anything, more respect.
Yeah.
So
hopefully that's a fight we could possibly see. But no, that's interesting. I watched a lot of. You said Jet Li, right?
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. I watched a lot of Bruce Lee growing up as well.
Yeah, we all did, right?
Yeah. So I used to watch all the old movies. But okay, so for my next question, I'm wondering like any advice for any aspiring fighters or people looking to go down the same path. What advice would you take from your experience to give to someone trying to follow the same thing?
I think there's a lot of factors, but I think the main advice is find yourself a team that's dedicated towards your goals and somebody that you can trust, like as a coach. Find that coach. Find that perfect team that meshes well, not just with scheduling and do they have good fighters? I'm talking about that meshes in well with. It's always about that bond that you create, right? And you can the best teams, the best fighters, the best athletes in the world have that connection with their coaches.
You're right.
And I think if you want to make it far, now if you want to just train, there's plenty of MMA gyms in the world. Yeah. But if you want to make it far, find that connection. Find that team that's going to be that forever team. Find that person that's going to continue to make you better and fit with your style. And that's how you get to the top.
I love that. So what I'm taking from that, I know you said team. I'm all I'm hearing is collaboration.
Exactly.
The true essence collaboration. So what I take from that advice is just find a good team, collaborate, and towards success. That's the beautiful thing about collaborating and success. We all have strengths and weaknesses. So you bring your strengths to the table. We combine that and we can do something great. So I definitely love that. So for my last couple of questions, I'm wondering, like, do you got any upcoming news? I know you said you kind of just waiting to hear something, but any upcoming news that we should be on the lookout for, whether they be with your Ninja Nguyen training or UFC?
Yeah, for as far as my fighting career, like I do want to get in another fight by the end of the year, but with how things work, it's not really up to me. It's kind of up to the UFC. Yeah. So I'm just training hard right now. I'm training hard. Technically in the off season right now, so I'm working on my skills. I'm getting better. I'm trying to be the Ninja 2.0 for this next fight. Yes. So I'm taking my time. I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm hoping to get a fight by the end of the year. Now, when it comes to my brand, I'm constantly growing, and I'm going to, like I said, if you guys are in the Dallas area, come check out the gym. You guys can come train, do a free session, come check it out, see if you guys like it. I'm telling you guys, we have people from pro fighters to people who've never throw a punch in their life before, and we can make something work. And
that's awesome. It. I know you kind of talked about it a little before the interview. Did you want to mention what you got coming up in the next month? Is that kind of up surprise?
No, so I'm going to be going to Vietnam. Okay. I'm going back to my home country.
Congratulations.
Actually, in a few days here. I'm going to be there for about a month, and I'm going to go back. Like I said, I'm a Vietnamese American, so I did grow up, actually. It's going to be my last time I was in Vietnam was when I was like 6 years old, man. I'm 30, so this is like my first time really going back home, and I'm really excited to see everybody back in Vietnam and see the support there and see the country. I mean, eat the food.
Yes.
I mean,
Now you can absorb it.
see
You know,
the
take it in.
nature. See, it's gonna be me and my girlfriend. We're gonna travel the whole country. I speak Vietnamese fluently. I can't wait to connect with my people. I have a lot of connects out there already, even though I haven't been out there. So I'm excited to meet all you guys out there, and let's get some things going. And I'm gonna come back from this trip. I already know, right? I'm gonna be so much more motivated.
Yes.
And I'm gonna really see my calling for sure. And I'm excited.
I definitely love that. I'm excited for your trip as well. I do want to, being that, you're on our podcast and, what you do, people look at. So, I want to welcome any new Vietnamese fans that may be following Steven's journey, that may be watching the podcast. Definitely tap into what he's doing, support, get behind him doing amazing things. And to kind of end off this question, man, this podcast is sponsored by Greatness Vodka. They're a locally owned, black-owned liquor company here in Wichita, Kansas, with 3 amazing flavors made with corn distilled 6 times. And we always ask our question to end the podcast this, man, what does greatness represent to you?
Greatness for me, as me being able to be a fighter, right? Greatness for me is kind of what I said with the Anderson Silva thing, being able to be great all around.
Yes.
Not just great at your sport that you do, and then, you're not the greatest outside of it. Like, you want to be able to inspire with what you do always, in the way that you carry yourself, in the way that you treat others, in the way that you compete. And that's greatness for me, and that's being able to change the world. Yes. And changing the world is inspiring people.
I love that. So just striving for greatness all around. Not just, say like for you, you don't want to just be known as a UFC fighter. You want to be known for things you've done outside of the ring, the people you affected through your training in other areas. So just being greatness all around, I believe is a good thing to strive for out there. So no, we definitely appreciate you, my man. And, this is a gift to you. I don't know if you drink, but, the very own original vodka greatness from our sponsors courtesy. And we also have some more gifts. We are sponsored by One For Us brand. They're a local clothing company in Wichita, Kansas.
Sick.
There's some merch in there for you, man. Some training gear.
Let's go.
We also got some podcast merch in there for you too.
Awesome.
A big pack, man. Big pack.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So appreciate that.
Shout out to our sponsors at One For Us and Greatness. And man, we want to thank you, man, for taking the time out your busy day to sit with us, bro. It was amazing.
I appreciate you, man.
Hearing your story.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the fans, to get to listen and take in any gems that they can take from this. So, we appreciate all y'all. Subscribe now for more. Thank y'all for tapping in, and y'all stay blessed.